Welcome back to another episode of The Michigan Left. My name is Andrew George, and I am your host. We are now on our second episode, so we have officially graduated. We made it past the first episode. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a lot to cover on the show today. In lieu of a special guest, you guys are going to meet Miloh today, who is the studio dog. He's my dog, but he runs around here often. And I figured seems you guys are going to see him running around the studio as we film. I'll give you an introduction. So we'll meet Miloh later. We're going to talk about new grant opportunities in Michigan for local businesses. We're going to talk about marijuana sales in Michigan, recreational marijuana sales. We're going to touch on a couple national issues. And we are going to touch on a couple funny issues, but we will get to that. So, without further ado, this is The Michigan Left. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about today is a little bit of pushback on the 3-week pause order here in Michigan. As most of you know, that pause order caused a lot of restaurants to have to, all the restaurants to have to close their dine-in services here in Michigan as COVID cases have been spiking. I know many of you are sick of hearing that, but that is just the reality of the situation. The COVID cases keep spiking, and a lot of that is due to things like this pushback that we're seeing from business owners on the pause order. If we could all just obey the pause order, wear our masks, and take reasonable precautions, we could get through this pandemic. And we wouldn't be in the position that we're in still today, and we could be through this. But then we have businesses like the Joe Vicari restaurant group. He owns the Andiamo restaurants in the southeast part of Michigan here. The chain actually owns 25 restaurants, mostly upscale Italian dining restaurants. What's important about this particular business is they sent out a letter to many other restaurant owners and groups urging them to defy the pause order should it be extended past the 3 weeks. This is dangerous. All right. What's worse is this is not your local mom and pop restaurant that we're talking about right now. This is a restaurant group that owns 25 restaurants, upscale Italian restaurants. This is simply profits over people is what's going on here. They don't care what lives they put in danger as long as they're still making a profit. Now, I feel for local businesses that are hurting, but we have a responsibility. You're only making matters worse right now. If we don't obey the pause order, COVID cases are going to continue to climb. The proof is in the pudding. Look at other countries. They had strict restrictions, and they have made it through this pandemic. If we could just obey the restrictions, we'll make it through the pandemic, and this will be over. It's unclear how many people received this letter from the Vicari restaurant group, and how many restaurant owners, even took it seriously. I know close to where this show is filmed, the studio here in Southwest Michigan, there's a Portage restaurant named DNR's Daily Grind Cafe. They are currently defying the pause order. They're risking a $1,000 fine right now, yet they just refuse to close down. This is dangerous. Again, you're putting profits over people, okay? I chair municipality's Downtown Development Authority, personally. I head the economic development within that downtown area. I feel for these local businesses and these restaurants that are hurting right now. But this is bigger than that. We need to make it through this pandemic so that there's something for us on the other side. And with that, I want to go into my next subject, which is a bit of good news. The Michigan Economic Development Corporation has passed a new grant program that is going to award up to $15,000 to local businesses that are affected by the COVID pause, the 3-week pause. There are only a few guidelines on this particular grant, which is the amazing part of the grant. Basically, if you're a restaurant that has had to close, a restaurant, a bar, food and beverage service providers, travel and tourism destinations, like lodging, live event venues, movie theaters, conference and meeting facilities, ice skating rinks, indoor water parks, bowling centers, gyms, and fitness centers. All these types of businesses, if they've had to close due to this 3-week pause, they're eligible for a $15,000 grant. Now, there are certain things that make you ineligible for the grant. Stay with me here. One of the things that makes you ineligible for the grant is defying the pause order issued by the state. So, karma. Not that I believe in it or anything like that, but it's pretty funny. So I'm unsure if that's going to affect the Vicari Restaurant Group or the DNR Cafe in Portage, whatever the case may be. But it's interesting that they put that into the language for the grant. I find the Michigan Economic Development Corporation to be incredible. Again, like I said, I work with the Downtown Development Authority, with things like economic development, business development, things like that. And the Michigan Economic Development Corporation has just been so instrumental in recovering from this pandemic and ongoing, as we can tell, as they've unveiled this new grant program just today. So, as of this recording today. So incredible news for that. Hopefully restaurants, businesses alike are obeying the pause order. That way they will be eligible for this grant. Next up on the ticket here is marijuana sales. Recreational marijuana sales in Michigan, according to the metrotimes.com, have reached, in the first year, nearly $440 million. $440 million in sales in the first year. Of that $440 million, it generated $73 million in taxes. That $73 million in taxes going to local schools, roads, police departments, but only if these municipalities have opted in to marijuana businesses in their communities. I know the community I'm in opted out. I believe they are writing an ordinance now to hopefully opt in. What that entails, I don't know. But we need to encourage our communities to opt in. They're missing out on huge tax revenue here over old stigmas and old beliefs that are they're simply outdated. We know otherwise. We've seen it. We've seen examples in other communities, how it works. If we could just opt in more communities, more municipalities in Michigan, we could really thrive. Okay, with that being said, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back momentarily, so don't go anywhere. Thanks. Hey friends, if I could just have a moment of your time, we'll get right back to the good stuff. But first, I want to talk to you about what we've launched in this past week, and that is a Patreon account. At patreon.com/MILEFT, that's patreon.com/MILEFT. You can find all of our episodes, you can find podcast versions of our episodes, and you can also become a supporter of our show. We love what we do here at the Michigan Left. It's something we're very passionate about, and that's progressive politics. But this all requires funding. Not a whole lot of funding, but it requires funding to keep this show going. And we're hoping for supporters like you to chip in even just $3 a month. That would help support the show and keep it running. So again, thanks for watching The Michigan Left. If you can go to patreon.com/MILeft, that's patreon.com/MILeft, you can become a supporter. You can also find some exclusive content at Patreon, as well as great merchandise. Thanks again for watching The Michigan Left. All right, welcome back to The Michigan Left. We're going to jump into a little bit of national news now. This should be fun. So, according to CNN, multiple Trump associates have made appeals to him in the hopes of obtaining pardons before he leaves office. A source familiar with the matter told CNN on Tuesday. So the source said the list of associates broaching the subject of preemptive pardons that would seek to shield those individuals from prosecution includes, get this, Rudy Giuliani. What could Rudy Giuliani be possibly looking for a pardon for? I laugh, but it's not shocking anymore. It's easy for me to preach to you all that, we need to not be complacent, but it's so hard not to be complacent. Like, and not in the way that like, I don't care anymore. Not like that. Like, as in, I'm just not shocked anymore. I'm not shocked by anything anymore. Of course, Giuliani denied discussing a preemptive pardon with the president, telling CNN that the New York Times is completely wrong. He further denied he has talked to anyone at the White House about a pardon for himself. Sure, Rudy, just like you were tucking in your shirt in that hotel room. It's just one of the many reasons why it's just not shocking anymore. And I think as this comes out a little bit more, we're going to hear a lot more. And, at this point, just don't be surprised. Trump already pardoned Flynn. All right, that was clear-cut corruption. Flynn pleaded guilty. He pleaded guilty. Okay, so Trump pardoned him. I don't feel like Trump feels like he has anything to lose. So I think in the next month or so here before President-elect Joe Biden takes office, we're going to see Trump pardoning a lot of people. It's funny, I seen on here that it was suggested by Sean Hannity that Trump pardon himself and his family, suggesting that there's nothing illegal about that. That is so dangerous. Why would you encourage that? It is incredibly dangerous. I find it dangerous for a sitting president to seek prosecution on an opponent. Now, obviously, we're riding a fine line here with Trump. Trump deserves to be prosecuted. He deserves to go to prison, to be clear here. But like I said, it's dangerous territory prosecuting your political opponent. You're delving into fascism there, and I think that's the whole reason we wanted Trump out of office. So, got a little ahead of myself here. So I think we're going to see a lot coming from the Trump administration in the next month. Along the lines of some of the more shocking things we've seen, just a lot more of it before he gets out of office. And I do believe that includes a pardon for himself. I do believe he's going to attempt to pardon himself in some type of way. Whether or not that's legal and effective, obviously that would be an issue I'm sure would go to the Supreme Court. But I think he's going to attempt to pardon himself. Okay, and a little bit funnier news. It seems that the nation's attention is focused less on Giuliani, and more on a mysterious silver monolith in the middle of a desert that disappeared. Honestly, what the it got removed. Then one appeared in Romania. Now the one in Romania has disappeared. However, somebody got pictures of 4 men removing the monolith from the deserts here in America. Rather quickly, I guess. In 15 minutes, they just kind of shoved it down and tore it apart and hauled it away in wheelbarrows. So the mystery continues. If nothing else, this is really fun. It makes me think of The 100 for some reason, if you guys have ever seen that TV show. So I guess we will look forward to more information on the mysterious monolith. Here's a little bit more fun news for you. Governor Gretchen Whitmer here in Michigan has been nominated for Time Magazine Person of the Year. I know she's not the most progressive. She has her moments, though. And if Donald Trump can be Person of the Year, Governor Whitmer certainly can be Person of the Year. This year, Time Magazine is allowing patrons to go on to their website and vote for who they think should be the Person of the Year. I did take the opportunity to do that. It wasn't looking the best for Governor Whitmer, but I do wish her the best. There were a lot of progressive people on there. There were a lot of not progressive people on there. A lot of people I've never heard of. So if you want to take a stab at it, go ahead and go to Time Magazine's website for that and take a vote for Person of the Year. Okay, so lastly, as we talked about on the last episode, on every episode, we want to highlight a progressive candidate or a progressive official representative here in the state of Michigan that really catches our attention. I think that is the main reason we established this online show. It's the reason we came up with the Michigan Left, was to really support, rural progressives in Michigan. Progressives in Michigan in general, but more aimed towards rural progressives. So without further ado, today's progressive highlight goes to State Representative John Hoadley. He represents the 60th District. It's in Southwest Michigan, the Kalamazoo area. John Hoadley and I are actually good friends. I know John very well, so I can vouch for him personally. No, John has a huge history of fighting for progressive values and ideas, and he had an incredible campaign, an incredible run against Fred Upton for Congressional District 6. Unfortunately, he didn't come up with the win there. But during that time, I had the opportunity to campaign with John. That is in my district. As some of you know, I ran for St. Joseph County Commission in this past election. And I had the wonderful opportunity to campaign alongside John Hoadley. And let me tell you, this guy is as progressive as it gets. Okay, and in our little rural area, this man was fighting for Medicare for all. Did I mention he's openly gay? He was fighting for LGBTQ rights. He's just all around an amazing guy, and he's an amazing person to have in our legislature. So I don't know what the future holds for John Hoadley, but I hope he does run for something, and we get to see some more progress from him. So thanks for everything you do, John. All right, so as promised, in lieu of a special guest, today we are going to meet Miloh. He is a 1.5-year full-blooded German Shepherd, and he is the best stagehand anybody could ask for. Miloh, come here. Come here. Yeah, you get to be a star today. Come here. Come over this side. Come here. Come here. Come on. Get up here. Say hi. Say hi, Miloh. This is Miloh. And he's incredible. So that is your special guest today. All right, so that is it for the Michigan Left, week 2. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. on patreon.com/MILeft or on Facebook or on YouTube. Thanks a lot.